Movies have long been the source of entertainment and storytelling, be it of people or cultures. And PVR has been at the helm of enhancing the movie viewing for the Indians. Today we have here with us Niharika and Aamer Bijli. So I want to start by asking you that what is the rationale for the re-releases right now?
So it was the brainchild of a lot of people, but re-releases also started a little bit as an experiment. We were looking at it as something that we wanted to do in leaner periods, but the recent success of the re-releases have really encouraged us to look at it as a full blown narrative that we can incorporate into our mainstream programming. They have a story of their own, and it's a very exciting story to tell. It is a testament to the big screen experience, because what it is showing us is that the consumer who has the option to watch these films on OTT platforms, on television, is still wishing and hoping and actually coming out to experience it again on the big screen. So we were it was a very heartening response, and it was exciting for us to see. So now we want to really move ahead with it as a proper strategy and incorporate it into our overall scheme of things. Yeah.
So how do you select these content? Like, what's going to work? Since in the previous time you've also screened matches. So, how do you sort of select the content? Anybody?
It's a lot of things. It's mainly keeping our ear to the ground. It's mainly understanding what the consumer of today wants. I think the average consumer is exposed to so much globally, even within India. So many experiential events that occur, concerts, live events, etc. So we do our best to keep up to date with it and really transform our cinemas into what very much the cinema of the future, yes, but also what the cinema of today should be like.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, in the sense that, like Aamer said, we have to keep our ear to the ground. So it is about understanding, okay, like what is the nostalgia meter online, with the consumers, what are the kind of films that they want to see. Like in the case with picking a film for this festival, Ashoka was very relevant online because the songs were gaining a lot of popularity again. We also look at what is releasing. So if we're able to find some kind of momentum with the new release of an actor or a director or a producer, like in this case again, we had Buckingham Murders that was coming out, so we took this opportunity to create a festival around it because it also coincided with her 25 years. That is another reason. Cinema is a medium of celebration, so we look at films celebrating anniversaries or certain legends and icons celebrating anniversaries as well. So that gives us a reason to celebrate their work. And in addition, we are also looking at restoring a lot of older classics. So as in when we get access to those films that have not been seen, at least by our generation, on the big screen, we're very excited to showcase them. So they are also packaged into all of this.
All right. So with the success of Kalki, Goat, and Stree also. So what do you think, that is this the revival of the business of movies right now? And your business outlook, basically.
Sure. I mean, see, we never doubted the fact that consumers were hungry for content always, right? Experiencing something on the big screen is just that. You experience it on the big screen. It's an entire way of consuming content. So definitely the film fraternity has churned out some really, really massive hits. I think all we can say in terms of the strategy going forward is we hope it's consistent. We do have peaks and valleys like any business exists, but like Niharika is saying, a part of our strategy now is to add these re-releases, these festivals, alternate programming, alternate events to combat for that. So yes, of course, we hope that these films keep coming, but even if certain volatility exists, we're prepared.
Yeah, and I think it's also not just obviously the films that you named, they're very pillar films. These are the big stream films. But also I think what this year is also, and last year especially, showed us is that even the smaller films have a footing. You don't have to be a very big film like a Kalki to do well. So we're very grateful that the industry is also churning out all kinds of content. So you have your Kalki, you have your Stree, but you also have a film like Crew, you have a film like Bad News, you have certain sleeper hits that are coming out. So cinema is for everybody, and we just hope that there is a churn out, as Aamer said, of good content, no matter how big or how small, because if that content is good, people will come. And that's the biggest learning we've had both last year as well as this year.
So, with the rise of OTTs, what do you think will be your strategy in terms of business to keep the PVR relevant for people? And what are the steps you're taking for it?
I think the important thing to remember today is that cinema and OTT has to coexist. There has to be some kind of synergy between them, because at the end of the day, both platforms showcase films, but traditionally as well. Big films need to find a footing in the cinema, because the kind of numbers and the returns you get in the theatrical business everybody can see them. What Stree did, what a film like Kalki did last year, Jawan, Pathan, etc. So it's a format that right now cannot be rivaled, and big screen is the way to watch a film. It's also the way a lot of filmmakers intend people to watch those films. So we hope that pipeline continues. We hope that people continue to make such films for the theatre, and at the same time, people who have missed it in the theatre have a chance to watch it on OTT later. So in that way, there is a way to for both platforms to coexist, and also I think there's a way for both platforms to coexist, but also feed synergy. For instance, films like we've re-released, like Rockstar, Jab We Met, K3G, they are alive on platforms like OTT and television. So the awareness that those platforms create is great, because films can last there. But that willingness to go and watch them in the cinema, we feel, will never really go away.
So, what is the case with the internationally? How is the trend over there with OTT and cinema halls? Is it the same, or you're seeing something different out there?
There's no market like India, as they say. So I definitely think the trends slightly differ. In terms of trends abroad, India was actually never same day, same release. I think we were able to manage that buffer. I think what the US has done in terms of their alternate programming is also substantial. All the concerts, everything that they are investing into to do in their cinemas is just mind-blowing, like we saw with the Era store, for example. Beyond that, I do see, like Niharika said, a coexistence between streaming and OTT. Between streaming and cinemas, because that's the way we have to do it now. They're two completely different experiences. One is in home and one is out of home. By definition, they are different. I think India, the way it impacted was it just opened up people's appetite for consumption. So it wasn't that if there's certain bigger films that are coming in the cinema, it's fine. If there's certain smaller films that are coming in OTT with different languages, then that's also okay for people to consume. And it's just synergy that we want to achieve, and cohabitation at the end of the day. Yeah.
So, post COVID and the rise of OTT, what major changes have you done in marketing and strategy to sort of manage the whole situation?
I think it's been a very collaborative approach. The studios, the local studios, have been pivotal in helping us. As you say, we have a large funnel of films that come through each year. So we try to treat every film as extremely important, and the studios play a big role in that. From an international standpoint, there's definitely a trickle-down effect. There's an effect that whatever marketing, expanse that happens in the US or in the UK definitely trickles here, and we try to take advantage of it as much as we can. We've invested in a lot of digitization tools. A lot of integration has been done with a lot of softwares across social media, across in-house marketing, database marketing, which has really helped us reach consumers better, actually, because that's the medium in which consumers are consuming content the most. So we have to make sure that we are present in those areas. And in terms of physical marketing, we're trying to use our spaces as best as we can. We're innovating with the style of things that we do. We have massive collaborations with the studios. We host premieres, we host takeovers, basically everything to raise awareness that a film is coming. And sometimes the consumers respond exactly the way we want them to. Sometimes, we move on to the next film.
So post the merger, what has been your expansion plans with respect to the screens? And are you also looking to sort of revamp the single screens which we are seeing here?
I think post-merger, of course, there's been, a wonderful collaboration of two independent brands now coexisting together. In terms of screens, I don't have too much liberty to say the extent of expansion, but what I can say is that we're really drilling down and focusing on the value accretive screens to make sure that we are asset right, not necessarily asset light or asset heavy. And yeah, I think in terms of the next steps would just be us figuring out how to enrich the experience a bit more, whether it's experiential modules, whether it's creating a more modular cinema, whether it's enriching the already existing offer that we have. That's the main thing.
I mean, to engage more people with the PVR INOX, do you feel that the pricing should be, lowered, or like, what is your take on the whole pricing bit for this?
Our pricing is a function of a lot of things. It's a function of the real estate costs we have. It's a function of the F&B and the experience that we have. And we really employ a lot of dynamic pricing methods to make sure that the most competitive and affordable price is given to the consumer. And of course, it varies state to state. It varies film to film, I think, as it always has. Yeah, I feel like that's all I can say at this point. But I do think for this moment of time, we are looking into pricing quite seriously to determine how we can better add value to the consumer. We have a lot of innovative packages that were being offered, a lot of bundling, a lot of, we had loyalty in the past, we had passport in the past. Things like that we can always keep exploring.
And we're trying initiatives like how you see this weekend. I mean, this is a ongoing cinema initiative of National Cinema Day. We do Cinema Lovers Day. So that also allows us, moments to drop the price enough for people to come back into the cinema. And those have been those responses have been really good so far.
I also want to ask you about, you are the next generation, and how is it going, taking on the new roles?
I mean, it's so far going well. I think we feel it's going well. PVR INOX has such a great legacy. There are so many people who work very hard, and these are people that we've seen firsthand. We've kind of grown up with as well. So it's right now it's just about integrating into this already very well-oiled system and seeing what fresh perspective we can bring. And yeah, that's what it is. It's taking it one day at a time and seeing what we can do. How we can just add a hint of modernity to this existing business. Yeah.
It's a learning process for me. I'm, the youngest out of the siblings, so I look up to them for what what one should be like, I guess. As well as our father and our uncle have integrated us so well into the ecosystem that it's becoming easier and easier for us to learn and hopefully one day, I mean, for me at least, add value the way I want to. So yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for giving us your time.